My live. We already got the best comment of the day. Already the best comment of the day. I mean, I was dying. I was dying when I read this as I was trying to get this thing set up. I was dying. I'm not too late. I put 10-10, which was actually a phenomenal prediction for when the game was going to end. Because I think it ended, at least over here, watching through YouTube TV. I know some people may have it delayed more or may have it earlier, depending on how they're watching. It ended 10:07 for me. 10:07. I had it projected 10:10. I had this whole stream set up 10:10. I went live 10:13. That's not bad for my usual. I'm usually like what? 10:15, potentially even 30 minutes late. Not Jack and Coke. Not Jack and Coke, though. Some Miller Lights, actually. I've been on beer today. I haven't been as big of a beer guy lately. More on like kind of tequila, the Happy Dash. Trying to keep it light, keep it light for the summer. But I went beers. I went Miller Lite. May have had a tequila shot at some point throughout the night as well. But we here. Steelers season is upon us. We won. But, I mean, let's just be real. Can we be real here? Can we be real? After, the first quarter and a half, are we even going to be seeing any of these guys? Can we be real? Now, I know, you know what? Jack Sawyer was still out there late into the game. There were some guys that were still out there. I get it, but, come on, bro. Skylar Thompson balled out. I can't even front. And I'm not a Skylar Thompson fan. I was kind of shitting on him when we signed him because I know what he produced down in Miami. I've seen him on the field, and it's not good. You see him in that black and gold, 3 touchdowns. Hurlman looked good. Keyshawn Thompson, that nice catch from Skylar Thompson at the end. Mason, Mason was kind of looking like Howard's future as the franchise may be in question. Seriously. And then Skylar Thompson, as I said, balled out. I mean, is QB3 up for grabs now? I can't go that far based off Skylar Thompson preseason because you at least saw what Will Howard did when games counted. Granted, it was in college, but 4 playoff games, high stakes games, absolutely balled out. And I think there's also a reason we have Will Howard third on the depth chart over Skylar Thompson. Maybe we'll see Will Howard at some point this preseason because Tomlin ain't writing him off completely. Maybe he'll get in there the third game, and his pinky injury will be all healed up. What's going on, man? What's going on? We here. I got some game notes we'll go over. I wouldn't mind just reading off some of your comments though and reacting because there's probably going to be some crossover. My main takeaway, though, let me just start off with this. My main takeaway after watching the first Mason drive and then also seeing how the offense played throughout the course of the game and Skylar Thompson with the 3 touchdowns. And granted, yeah, there's a lot of guys that are out there in the second and third quarter, fourth quarter that we're not going to be seeing on Sundays. But the offensive concepts, the offensive philosophy overall look pretty sharp. And my main thought was that this is potentially the Aaron Rodgersification of the Steelers offense, of the Arthur Smith system. We're actually trying to run a proper West Coast offense in their modern era because it was all unpredictable. It was the quick passing game. It was some of these screen plays where there's actually purpose to them. Not like when Canada was running the offense and we're just throwing screen plays and we're losing yards. We're running jet sweeps and losing yards. We're trying to go side to side and it's not working at all. That was with that Canada. And then Arthur Smith comes last year and we didn't really have, with Justin Fields and Russell Wilson, we didn't have essentially the proper setup to run a West Coast type of system in 2025. Russ, we know he's boomer bust with the deep ball. Can't really make the passes over the middle of the field like that, and limited from a mobility standpoint. And then Justin Fields, really mobile, but we don't know where his, passing game is to that extent from like an accuracy standpoint, being able to make all these like little 5 to 10 yard passes at a high clip. So we didn't run that style. I think we got to give Arthur Smith credit for what we did last year, because I think he tailored the offenses towards Russell Wilson and Justin Fields when they were in. And now we have Aaron Rodgers, and there's obviously going to be Aaron Rodgers influence. We'd be stupid not to have Aaron Rodgers have his say. And it's like, bro, Mason looked good. Skylar Thompson looked good. And the offense looked like it hasn't looked since we've had Big Ben. So, like, there's got to be something to be said for that, having Aaron Rodgers. Mason was looking good, bro. Skylar Thompson, 3 touchdowns. Now, Thompson played the majority of the game. I'm sure Mason would have had Skylar Thompson stats. Mason would have had 3 or 4 touchdowns if he stayed in the whole game. I'm just saying, like, the offense and the concepts. Oh, we're going to run a play action here. Oh, we're going to run screen pass here. Quick game. Run. Even though the running game didn't really work throughout the course of the game at all. Caleb Johnson, really disappointing debut, to say the least. But we mixed it up. It was the play action, the passes over the middle, the short passes. Oh, we got a one-on-one down the sideline. Let's take a chance here. I liked it, man. There was an unpredictable element to our offense. There was a flow to our offense that I think you got to contribute some of that to having Aaron Rodgers here, because the offense is set up for Aaron Rodgers. It's literally set up for Aaron Rodgers. Mason Rudolph was running it. Skylar Thompson was running it, and they had success. Granted, it's preseason, but Jaguars, Travis Hunter was playing late into that game, right? Am I wrong? I saw Travis Hunter out there. I'm like, bro, why are you still out there? Like, this is crazy. Like, Jaguars, they played their starters. Like, I think they had guys that were a level up over the guys that we had out there, and we were still moving the ball on offense at a pretty decent clip. All right, we got a super chat. But that's my main, that was like my main takeaway from this game. We won the game, but as I said, it's like, all right, we're not going to be seeing most of these guys really on Sunday. For the guys that played the majority of the game. But Mason being out there, he showed up. The offense as a whole, the philosophy looked pretty nice. And I think the defense, I'll be honest, the defense was kind of soft. It didn't have like that Steeler mentality. The old school Steeler philosophy wasn't there. But we had this new school West Coast type of system, particularly on offense. And the defense was, it got the job done. If you're just talking about winning the game, we got the job done. But it was soft. No splash plays. I don't even think we had any sacks. Did we have 1 tackle for loss? Like, there was no us on defense imposing our will on the Jaguars offense. There was none of that. We were timely enough. We were definitely timely enough. And, you can't expect the dude to be making a 70-yard field goal before halftime. That was insane. I can't knock our defense for that. That was just absolutely insane. All right, where's this paid chat here? We got to. Why am I not able to pull this up? I'm sorry. Hold on. Chris Arkwright. Let me get this. My production skills kind of shaky right now. I got a Zen in. Kind of become a Zen guy recently. I got to take this out. Chris Arkwright says, the Mason prophecy will be fulfilled. That's what I was saying. When he was dotting up the defense like that, those first couple drives, I was just like, are we sure Mason isn't the guy going forward? Are we going to write him off that quickly? Let's not forget 2023. Let's not forget that mental toughness he showed. Let's not forget he saved the season. Backs up against the wall. Balled out. 3-0. Got to the playoffs. Played good in the playoff game. Let's not write him off completely. His arm strength ain't gone. And we know quarterbacks can age pretty well in 2025 with modern technology, science, and health and all that stuff. The quarterbacks are playing into their mid-30s, late 30s. And Mason Rudolph doesn't have a lot of tread on his tires right now. Not a lot of playing time right now. So, like, he's, closing in on 30? Is he what, 28, 29, 30? But is he really at heart like a 25, a 26? And then we've seen guys when they've gotten their opportunity in their early 30s take advantage and have like this second prime, this whole second stint to their careers. Geno Smith, a recent example, completely wrote off. He didn't write back. And he's flicking off Seahawk fans at the first Raiders preseason game. He's got that type of energy. Rich Gannon, another name I think of, like he had like a kind of journeyman career, average quarterback, early 20s or mid 20s into his kind of early 30s. And then he goes to the Raiders with John Gruden and wins an MVP, takes Raiders to the Super Bowl, goes for like 3-4 seasons in a row of Pro Bowl type of play. And then Steve Young's the other guy I'm thinking of. Now that's the most extreme example. Dude became a Hall of Famer and an all-time great after sitting behind Joe Montana. And then he finally got the keys in his early 30s and really ran with it. But are we writing Mason off too quick? I mean, it's fair. I know everyone's high on Will Howard. Everyone's high on who we potentially draft in the first round next year. But I think that would be interesting. If Mason sticks around for one more year, we get Will Howard back. Obviously, we'll draft the guy if Rodgers doesn't come back. Just making an open competition between those three. And I say just let the chips fall as they may, because there is something to be said for giving Mason a chance, given his history here and all the shit that he's been through, what he's overcome, and how now he looks like he's past it. He looks like he's not thinking too much at all. In fact, he's just not thinking at all. He's just going with the flow. The vibes are high with him. So, I mean, we saw it today. Granted, it's preseason and everything, but you look good. You look good. I think at least he's a really high-end backup for us this year. And going back to the whole Rodgers saga in the offseason and whether or not he was going to sign, we had those question marks. I was good with taking the chance on him to start this season and see if this could be a make or break type of thing. And if Mason could be good for us, if Mason could be a quality starter, maybe he would be the guy for the future for the next few seasons. But obviously we got Aaron Rodgers. We're not going to, we're not going to be not playing Aaron Rodgers. Like I think that would be foolish. You get Aaron Rodgers for a year, $13 million versus Mason. Yeah, let's see what Rodgers still got. Clearly. Big A21. That Nichols kid looks solid at RB at the end of the game, kind of like Jalen Warren prototype. And that's why, to me, that's why the Caleb Johnson debut was even more disappointing after seeing Nichols. Now, Caleb Johnson, he didn't have the best of blocking, but I don't know, man. It didn't look right. He just didn't pass the eye test. That's all. A little frustrating. I still believe in Caleb Johnson. We're not going to write him off after one preseason game, but it was a little disappointing. You just thought there would be maybe some more fight, maybe some extra pop on those plays that were blown up. Because that's something we could say for Najee, right? That's the excuse for Najee. The blocking was terrible for Najee. We didn't have a good offensive scheme for Najee. He had overcome a lot. Poor quarterback play. Still got those 1,000 yards. But like to me, I would still say like, Najee still doesn't give us enough, right? So like I gotta keep it. I gotta keep it a buck. I gotta keep it equal. If I'm saying the same things about Najee, like even though maybe he wasn't dealt the best of cards, there wasn't enough explosiveness in his game. There wasn't enough pop. There wasn't enough game breaking stuff. I didn't see that with Caleb Johnson today. I didn't, unfortunately. And Nichols showed that. Now, granted, probably different players out there, and I felt like there was some better lanes for him. It was just this. I think the main story is more on Caleb Johnson than Nichols. Credit to him, but let's also be real. Going back to what I said at the beginning, bro, this dude ain't making the team. Let's just be real. We have Kenneth Gainwell, we have Jalen Warren, we have Caleb Johnson, and then Herman was showing me some stuff too. And if you're talking about one of those last spots in like the running back room, in the backfield, who can do more? Who can be more versatile? Herman can do running back. I think he could do fullback. You guys correct me if I'm wrong. Can he do fullback? He also does special teams, and then you saw him line up in receiver, almost like a Danny Woodhead. But no, I mean, you're not wrong. Nichols was solid. I think the bigger storyline is Caleb Johnson didn't look solid. I know you're watching Broad. What's your thoughts? I actually thought I wasn't watching him specifically. I'm not going to front. I wasn't watching him specifically. I thought the O-line, when did he get taken out? Because the O-line looked kind of decent for when Mason was in there. So if he got taken out around that same time, I thought we were fine. Mason had some time. Outside of that one play, things got really blown up and it kind of killed our drive. I think, it was the second series. Mason took that sack. I thought the O-line as a whole was decent early on in terms of the players that are kind of going to matter. But we did have some key dudes that were out. A lot of key guys that were out. Our whole secondary was out. But Brandon Echols balled out. Beanie Bishop balled out. Those guys are going to be making the team, most likely. So those were some names I saw early on. Beanie Bishop was nice. Brandon Echols should have had a pick. Made a really nice tackle on a screenplay. Showed physicality there. I'm sorry. Let me know on the Broderick Jones. That's something I'd probably have to look back on. I wasn't paying too much attention. I probably should have paid more attention. That's my bad. All right. Next comment. Sorry. This is tough to scroll with. Really tough. Give me a sec. Oh my. I feel like I'm missing comments here. It's a disaster. Okay, never mind. Am I missing? Oh, here we go. Yeah, one more. Brad, appreciate it, bro. Mason at best is Charlie Batch. I think that's at worst. I think Mason at worst is Charlie Batch. Yeah, at worst, Charlie Batch. At worst, because just think of Charlie Batch. I don't want to be disrespectful to Charlie Batch at all. But Charlie Batch was a guy that you could call upon when Ben got hurt, get you out of stadiums for a 2, 3, 4 game stretch with at least a 500 record, if not a winning record. Because I think there was the one time he had to start the season, 4 games. We went 3-1 with Batch. Other times Batch had to come in for little spurts, go 1-1, 2-0, whatever it is, right? Like Mason can do that. You know what I mean? Like I have no doubt at this point, Mason can do that. Mason can operate at the quarterback level in a professional manner. And if he's got enough surroundings, got a decent defense, and we're already a playoff team around him, he can do that. I'm just saying it's like, I think there's a ceiling left that we still don't know about. That 2023 season with Mason at the end of the year really intrigued me. I think it intrigued a lot of people, but he didn't get that opportunity to come back. We went with Russ. We went with Fields. He goes to the Titans, goes to a pretty disastrous situation, plays all right, didn't play amazing, but I don't think it's as bad as what people would remember that as. He's with the Titans. It's not something that's really that high profile when people are talking about to begin with, but he didn't have a winning record, had some picks. What did he go like 9 touchdowns, 8 picks, 9 touchdowns, 9 picks, but now he's back here. It's like, we don't know. I just don't know what his complete ceiling could be. I think at least he could be Charlie Batch. Yeah. He could be our consistent backup for the next 7-8 years. Consistent, no matter what guy we try at the starting quarterback position, if it's Will Howard, if it's the first rounder, Mason can stick around. And all I'm saying, though, is if he's actually given an opportunity to start a stretch of games for a month, multiple months, watch out, man. Like he might actually do something. He might actually give you some upside on offense. All right, what else we got here? I'm going back to the defense real quick. I think they were just a little soft tonight. I do. Where was the splash? Where was Steelers defense? Where was Steelers football? Because I even feel like some of the days in the past, whenever we would have preseason games, and even if it wasn't James Harrison out there, Polamalu, our starters, you still had that philosophy. You still had that mentality passed down to the backups, and dudes were getting after it in preseason. And you were like in the first half, yeah, we're just dominating this other team just because we have players that have been in the Steelers system that understand Dick LeBeau's philosophy and how we're doing things, like getting after it. And then maybe in the second half of some of those games back in the day, I'm talking, 2009, 2010, whatever. I mean, yeah, maybe there would be guys you knew that weren't making the team, start looking like Swiss cheese in the second half just by default. But I didn't see that here. And maybe it's because we got some new guys. We got some young pieces on defense. Derek Harmon, Y.A. Black, Jack Sawyer. But the guys, and that's what I'm talking about. The guys up front weren't really moving the needle. They weren't pushing the envelope. It was the guys in the secondary that I really highlighted with Beanie Bishop and Brandon Eccles. I thought they played the best. I liked Juan Thornhill. I saw him make a splash play or two early on. Chuck Clark was out there moving around. But it wasn't the guys up front. And that's something that we're used to talk about. We're used to be talking about whenever we're talking about Steelers defense and really imposing our will. But maybe not as much over the – I mean, we have our complaints about the last 3 or 4 years, obviously. But with 2025, this new era, all the new additions, we are hoping that we get back to those old ways for sure. But we didn't have Jalen Ramsey out there. We didn't have Darius Slay out there. We didn't have JPJ out there. Patrick Queen wasn't out there. Sean Elliott wasn't out there. Cam Hayward wasn't out there. We knew Cam Hayward wasn't going to be out there, right? Steelers second team versus their starters early. For sure. That's fair. That's fair. But as I said, think of like if we went back to 2009, 2010, and it was the Steelers backups in the preseason. Maybe it was the majority backups. Maybe there's a couple starters versus a Jaguars team where they got the majority of their starters. I still feel like even in the preseason, we'd be running the table. We'd be running shit. It's fine. I mean, these are little critiques. Like, what else are we going to talk about? You go to, I mean, what else are we going to talk about at this point? You got like half the guys that were playing early on. Half of those dudes are probably going to play. They're going to have some sort of impact. They're going to have some sort of role. But then after a couple series, they're out. And then you have a handful of guys, a percentage of guys that are going to be making the team. Like, they're out there, but you don't really expect much of a role. So, like, what are the big takeaways? I don't know. Yeah, I do have a Miller Lite out here. I do. This is a good reminder. I do have a Miller Lite. Cheers. It's Saturday, man. It's a Saturday. We're here on a Saturday. Steelers season started. Stop living in the past, Deke. The team looked good. Yeah, offense did, but I mean, defense, it was all right. Defense is all right. It's all right. It's all right. Enough to win the game. Timely enough to win the game. We didn't get killed. There weren't any explosive plays we let up to the Jaguars. But there was an extra edge. There was an extra level that I felt like we were missing. But again, how much do we really want to get into it when you got dudes like Jameson out there rocking 17? I don't even know who the hell he is, but you know what? I said his name for a reason because I actually like what he was doing. I liked what Jameson was doing. But he's like he's not making the team, right? There's no chance. Yeah, this is the other thing. Harmon, Y.A. Black too. That's what I mean. The defensive line, the interior, that front seven. Didn't hear a peep from Harmon. He's so explosive in practice, but game time, quiet. Disappointing. Harmon, Caleb Johnson, a little disappointing there. I did notice that too. There were some catches they had. And you see one of the guys in the secondary, you see a cornerback or two around the play, and you're just like, yeah, they're playing zone. That was a good pass by whoever the hell the Jaguars quarterback. It was Mullins out there for a good portion of it. It's like, yeah, that was a good pass. Whatever. We're not trying to do too much. And that's the other thing. Preseason games. Rodgers talked about that. Vanilla schemes, we're only running, or at least most teams are only running 3-4 plays. It's a combination of 3-4 different plays, and that's it. Zone, mostly zone, man. Like the quarterback knows what's up as he's going to the line of scrimmage. There's not any exotic things. No one's trying to fool anyone because no one wants to put that on tape in meaningless games that aren't going to count, and I don't blame them. Bro, come on, bro. No. Mason can play with a bad O-line. We've never seen him play with a good O-line. Rodgers will fail. Come on, bro. I think I have the exact opposite take after seeing what just happened with our offense. I'm like, if Mason and Skylar Thompson are kind of cooking a little bit in this offense, just wait for what Aaron Rodgers, Hall of Famer, all-time great, is going to do with this offense. That's what I'm thinking. Because we do have questions about the O-line, especially when it comes to these regular season games. What's Broderick Jones going to do and stuff? How are they going to protect Aaron Rodgers? But if we're running plays like that can keep the defense on their toes and be unpredictable, that's only going to help Rodgers more. And you saw Rodgers, in a way, play with a bad O-line last year. And it was a struggle early on. But 28 touchdowns, 11 picks at the end of the day. I mean, a bad year for Rodgers is a career year for Tua, for Kirk Cousins, those type of guys. And now Rodgers should have a good defense to back him here. Should. Spent a lot of money there. We said that last year. But hopefully Jalen Ramsey, JPJ, Cam, after he gets paid. Cam's going to get paid, right? Cam after he gets paid. TJ with his money. And this defense should be good. It's kind of wait and see, but we've allocated a ton of resources to the defense. Madden even has us the number 1 ranked defense in the league. 91 overall. Okay, I guess Matt didn't watch the game. He says, how was Caleb Johnson? A little disappointing. Now, I'm seeing some things on Twitter. People are bringing up the highlight where Caleb Johnson got around Travis Hunter and are making it seem like Caleb Johnson dominated him, that like he stiff-armed him to the ground and owned him. It wasn't that. It was not that. That was more of Travis Hunter just being a bad tackler. That was not about Caleb Johnson imposing his will on Travis Hunter. Missed me with that. I'm sorry. It's like the softest 7-yard run I've ever seen. And people are making it seem like Caleb Johnson dominated Travis Hunter on the play. It was pretty whack. He got 7 yards. I'll give him that. But it's like the way people are talking about it. It's like, damn. What else we got? Am I missing anything? All right, I like this one. You're right. Scotty Miller, good game. Good game tonight. Making a case to make the team. Making a case to have a role. Might be a legit competition between him and Roman Wilson. Roman Wilson played good tonight too. But you're hearing the stuff out of camp that Roman Wilson's been a little bit more up and down now. He's had some good outings recently, but Scotty Miller was taking on a more prominent role throughout training camp and being an Aaron Rodgers favorite, which is why him and Robert Woods was placed above Roman Wilson on the depth chart. And then Scotty Miller kind of backed it up today. Played good. Definitely played good. Brandon Echols mentioned him. Yeah. Proving that signing was not a mistake, even after bringing in Darius Slay and Jalen Ramsey and making Eccles expendable. It's like you can't have too much depth in your secondary. You just can't. Because injuries are going to happen, and Eccles has already proven to be a starting caliber player in this league, outside, inside. And if you're talking about him being our fourth cornerback, great spot to be in. Recently, yeah. I think early on, I think we got reports early on in like OTAs and minicamp that Roman Wilson was really coming on strong. But then there was like one or two moments early in training camp, and then he was quiet for a good portion of the middle. And then you saw the depth chart. Roman Wilson was listed at 5, and then there was a lot of stuff saying that, yeah, he really hasn't put a stamp on this camp just yet the way that you'd expect. And then the next couple of days after he was listed as wide receiver 5 on the depth chart, he's balled out. And then he played good today. Yeah, Rock Taylor had a moment or two. He had that nice catch. I might be missing a paid comment here. We gotta get these paid comments squared away. What else did I miss? Come on, hold on. Yeah, here we go. Where is this coming from? Sanders versus Rudolph? Where's this coming from? Who's Sanders? You talking about Shador Sanders? He's on the Browns. How's that going to be a competition? Or are you saying that that's the future AFC North battle between the Steelers and the Browns? I don't know what you're talking about. And then Big A21 would have liked to have seen Rock Taylor targeted more, and also we need to use Darnell Washington way more this season. Yeah, that was a sweet catch. Sweet pass and catch from Mason to Darnell. That was Mason. He layered that in perfectly across the front defender, right in there. Darnell Washington, only he could get it. He obviously had the physical advantage over the defender that was actually on him. It was a nice pass, man. Nice pass, nice catch, Darnell Washington. I think we are going to see more of Darnell. I think, based off how Aaron Rodgers has been talking, we might actually see Darnell Washington eclipse 100 yards, 150 yards this year receiving. I would like to hope so. I would like that. I think most of us would. Neither of them were in. I didn't see Kenneth Gainwell in there. I didn't know if Kenneth Gainwell was going to play. I didn't even see him. And then Jaylen Warren sat out. Tomlin made that clear before the game even started. Yeah, he did drop a pass early, and then he showed some stuff in the receiving game, and then he's also a former running back, played special teams. That'll be interesting. I would like to know if he could play fullback, if he could be like a Kyle Juszczyk for us, because that would even give him a better opportunity to make the team. But he looked nice. No one's writing him off. No, absolutely not. There's a reason we spent the 3rd round pick on him. Baller at Iowa. But it was disappointing. Disappointing debut. That's all. Didn't get the best of help. But as I said with Najee, at times with Najee, he didn't get the best of help. And you still felt like it was right for us to move off of Najee and try to get more explosive. And Caleb Johnson he didn't provide that tonight. That's all. First preseason game. Don't look into it too much. But if we're going to talk about the game, if we're going to have something to say about it, that's something to bring up. Caleb Cole, Peyton Wilson was always around the ball. Yeah, that's what he does. I mean, he's always flying around out there. We know his 40 time. We know what he's capable of. Wasn't able to make, just like all the other players on the defense in that front 7, like that big-ass play, though. Wasn't able to do that. But, yeah, he's always around the ball. There's something to be said for that. All right, what else we got, man? I think that's it. People keep bringing up 35. Is 35 the guy that I'm thinking of? Yeah, Lou Nichols. Right. I talked about him earlier. I already forgot his number. I'm sorry. Sorry to Lou. Apologies to Lou. Can Boz kick a 70? I don't know up in Pittsburgh, especially as it gets colder. Maybe in a dome. Maybe down in Jacksonville when it's hotter. Because that heat can change things. Golfers can hit the ball a lot further in those southern states than up north. Or we'll just say whenever it's hotter versus colder, because Oak won at the US Open, being up here in Pittsburgh. Still hot as hell. But I'm saying, you know what I mean. You get what I'm saying. As it gets colder, the ball just don't travel as far unless you're over in Denver, Colorado. I think that's it, man. I don't know if I got much else. Good vibes though. Good vibes to start off. Got the dub. We got to see some things from important players early on. Yeah, and it was nice seeing Cole Holcomb out there. Yeah, Cole Holcomb. He's going to be our third or fourth guy at inside linebacker. As we were just talking about with the secondary and having Brandon Echols as your fourth guy. Having Cole Holcomb as your third guy. Great problem to have. Great problem to have. But all right, I think I'm out of here. You guys have a great Saturday. And we're here, man. Season starting. I've been a little helter-skelter over the last month or two. But I feel like I'm locked in. Ready to go. I think the content is going to be good. I think it's going to be a fun-ass season. And I might be missing another paid comment. If I am, here we go. Brad, Pierre versus Bishop. Yeah, so far I think Bishop's winning that. Someone with a name is going to get cut in the secondary. There's just too many names. It's going to be between Corey Trice, Beanie Bishop, Dante Kent. Corey Trice, Beanie Bishop, Dante Kent, and Pierre. One or two of those names are getting cut. Just comes down to numbers. Have a great night. It's going to be a good year, man. It's going to be a good year. You guys stay chilling. And we'll be back, man. We'll be back. Next preseason game. We're going live. We're definitely going live. I don't want to reveal all the plans, but going live. And then, yeah, content throughout the week, man. We're back. We're back. I feel like I've disappointed some of you guys. I've been a little lazy. Been a little lackadaisical on the content. It's going to be a good year. Stay chilling. Peace.